Hi guys, welcome back to Coffee Time with Ash. Today we are talking about same-sex marriage, plebiscite. But before that, let's meet our lovely ladies who are in the studio today. Hi ladies, how are you?
Hi, very good. How are you?
Good. How was your day? Now, before we do start the show, before we start talking about the topic over here, we ask you to introduce yourself to our audience so they know who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Molina. I'm a lawyer with the Victorian government. I've been involved in a lot of community work with women empowerment and diversity as well. So so this is a topic that's of huge interest to me.
Hi, I'm Riddhi and I run a social media marketing company called Spark. Been in Australia for around 14 years and looking forward to have a very fun-filled.
As you know, we're here to talk about the same-sex marriage plebiscite. What is your views on that?
I'm totally pro that. I will be voting yes.
Yes.
I have lots of friends and some members of the family who are from the LGBTI community, and I think it's really important for equality. They should have the same rights as other people do to live a life that is fulfilling, to have relationships that are fulfilling, and their children should have the same right. They should be able to live in society as all the others do, without being judged, without being criticized. So I think it's really important that they have this right to be married to their partners.
And what do you think about this?
I would definitely be voting yes because I'm a firm believer of happiness. I really believe that our lives should be happy, and how we define happiness is our individual choice. And similarly, same-sex marriage is a choice which should be left to the individual.
So what is the issue with the same-sex marriage?
So currently, marriage is only between a man and a woman, and under the Marriage Act, so you're not allowed. So a man is not allowed to marry a man, and a woman is not allowed to marry a woman, and that's
right.
specifically stated in the legislation.
Yep.
But the Constitution talks about marriage between natural persons. So the Parliament has the Australian Parliament has the right to legislate who can marry. So they can legislate whether people from the same sex can marry, which currently is not the position. And so people of the same sex who have a relationship, they are either in de facto relationships, they have some form of, they can have a civil union, but they're not allowed to marry. So the issue is whether we should have a legislation which allows the people of the same sex to marry or not. So that's the legal issue.
And can you tell me, I didn't know what the plebiscite is? Is that plebiscite, right?
Yeah.
So could you tell our audience what that is?
So here there will be the public will be voting on whether to say yes or no to same-sex marriage.
Okay.
It's not going to. But what has happened is that the Parliament was not able to agree on that issue. So now it's gone to the public. They'll get an opinion from the public, and then they will then they will vote in the Parliament how they want to vote. But and also they're not going for a normal plebiscite, which is voting by actually going in person and voting in a polling booth.
Yeah.
It's going to be through a postal vote. So everyone will be sent postal ballots very soon, and they will be required to provide the yes or no, tick the answer by the 7th of November, and by the 25th of November the results will come out, what the general opinion of the public is, whether it's yes or no. Majority.
Okay. So depend if the opinion is yes, and the government still goes and says no. That's what I'm thinking right now. Is it really necessary to do that?
It's not necessary, and it's very costly to be running this whole exercise. They could have gone through without having the plebiscite and voted in the Parliament, but they've chosen to go down that path. It's going to delay the whole process as well.
So we're actually trying to help the people who are in for same-sex marriage, hoping that everyone says yes. Most people say yes, so that
it's not helping. I think because the opinion was divided, but in the Parliament there was so they want the opinion of the public to come out, and hopefully the Prime Minister obviously said we will. if the public says yes, if the majority says yes, then it should be fairly easy for the law to be passed in the parliament. But who knows?
It is a long battle, isn't it? It is. So you were talking about that this has actually been legalized in other countries, but not here.
Yeah, it has been in quite a few, I think 24, 26 countries,
Okay.
including UK, America, Ireland, and there's quite...
I don't see what the problem is. Why can't we pass the law? Like, come on, people want their rights to get married to their rightful partner, and it's their choice. But that's what we say, and there are people out there who are saying no, and you know.
There's a lot of groups that are against it. There's religious groups, faith communities. There's there's very conservative groups that are against it, and they have started a campaign to say no. And you can actually there's campaigns on TV, but there's also private campaigns that are being run by particular communities, especially Asians as well, and they have pamphlets in different languages asking people to consider how the future of the children are going to look like, and say no, which I think is wrong. That's my personal opinion, of course, but that's what is going on. That's one of the reasons, because there's a divided opinion on that. There's people who are against it, so it's not a very easy topic. So.
But in other countries as well, there would have been similar conservative groups against it, but they made it happen. So why is it that hard?
And I'm surprised, because Australia is such a progressive nation. We have, we're progressive about everything. There's lots of people who actually move to Australia because they're from the LGBTI community and they feel this is a safe haven for them.
It is.
So it is quite surprising that we, as a nation, Australia would be opposed to the idea of same-sex marriage.
So I guess they're fine for it to be shown in public, the affection and all, but they're not fine with it to be legalized.
Legalized. Yes, they are. It's openly accepted. It is accepted in communities, accepted by families, but a lot of time, legally, as yet, it's not acceptable.
So is it illegal for the same-sex people to stay in one house or together?
No, it's not. Same-sex marriage is not legalized, but people of the same-sex marriage can be in a de facto relationship. They have certain rights as well in terms of property, and the children have certain rights as well. But it's not a marriage per se. They can actually. I know a few couples who've been married overseas in countries where it is actually recognized, and they have kids as well. So they can live together. It's not illegal for that, but for their rights to be totally recognized, I think they have to sign every few years. They have to sign a commitment, some sort of a commitment thing as well, to say that they are in that relationship. Otherwise, their rights are not recognized. Yes,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of hard work just to be with your loved one.
It is, exactly. We don't think of it. We take a lot of things for granted. Being in a natural, what is considered natural relationship. But for people like that, it's a really tough gig.
I mean, that would cause a lot of mental stress and even some problems with their kids. Kids would find it hard to explain to their friends at school.
Yeah, it is. It's very. I have friends who are going through a lot of mental agony. They're going through depression. A lot of them are actually contemplating suicide, which is massive.
That's bad.
And friends of mine who are of the same sex, who have kids their kids are actually going through a lot of bullying at school as well, which is another problem.
I find it ironic that at one point we try to teach our kids about love, about humanity, peace, being nice, etc. And yet we are trying to also tell them that this kind of love is okay, this kind of love is not.
Yeah. And I think we all probably from the same faith. Hindu faith, and our faith talks about all the good values of respect, dignity, liberty, and love. So why are we excluding certain kind of people from our value system? They deserve the same respect that others do as well. And I think our scriptures had actually a place for people from the third sex as well. They had particular roles in society. They were courtesans, they were in temples, they were part of religious ceremonies. So I think our religion itself was very progressive, and we've regressed to a certain extent by not accepting these relationships.
I think it's been shaped by a lot of people who had strong opinions, and they in the name of faith, in the name of religion, they get away with a lot of things and make them kind of faith rules or faith laws that we have to abide by.
And we've had a lot. I mean, the Hindu culture has been influenced a lot by the invasions that happened in India. There was obviously the Muslim invasions, and there was the British there are quite a lot of conservative cultures, whereas Hinduism itself was not really a religion but a way of life. It was quite progressive in its outlook. So I feel that there was a place for people like from the LGBTI community in Hinduism, and which we've lost through time, and we need to help regain that same culture. So there's lots of references to these kind of things in Hindu scriptures, and I think we need to go back to that to be able to understand where we all came from and what nature was like, and then be acceptable of people who have a relationship with.
So at that time it was acceptable.
It was acceptable.
But it just faded off.
Yeah, it faded off for whatever reasons. We're not quite sure. Maybe because of more conservative cultures taking over with the invasions and things. We didn't have parda system in Hinduism.
What's the parda system?
Parda system is when you cover your head.
Ah.
So that wasn't there in our society. In Hinduism, it came much later with when the Muslims invaded India and stayed on as part of our culture as well. So a lot of things changed over time.
I think even if you think of mythology and in some of the movies that they depict, which are made about lords and gods and goddesses, you can see members from transgender community roaming around. They're like the best friend of the queen or the goddess, and they were very acceptable. They were actually very close to them.
Yeah, there was a role for them.
Yes.
So they used to perform certain ceremonies in the temple as well.
Yeah.
So that was their role. Even now, you have a huge, we call the Hijra community in India.
That's right. Yes.
They actually were blessing people to give them good wishes, which they still are.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's become a lot more commercialized now, but it was part of the society. They used to come and bless a newborn child. They used to come and bless a newlywed couple, and any auspicious occasion in the family, you had people from there.
You still call them at weddings and when a child is born to bless. So it's kind of like it's okay if you come and bless us when we have a special occasion.
Yeah.
But other than that, we do not care about you, and we don't have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
But come bless our family.
I guess over time people has changed the rule. It's not like what they were following before. It's just what they think is right, and it just rolled out like that.
Eventually it's beliefs have changed, people have changed, and it's more like we've heard things from our parents, they've heard from their parents, but from the origin until our generation, it's changed so many times.
I think it's time for us to go back onto our books, read them, and then get it into your head and start following that again from the first stage till now. I think things are gonna change then. But then again, we have people saying no to it because
we have religious leaders as well from various communities, from our own community, the Hindu community, from the Catholic community, from Jewish, from other communities. Some of them are supportive, but I think a lot of them are not as well. They are opposed to the idea. There was actually a Sikh leader who came out and said that if we legalize same-sex marriage, it's going to be the end of the universe, end of society.
But then
that it's not normal at all, and there are religious leaders like that who come up with things.
Well, I think people have started living together. What else do you want? It's just a marriage,
It is about their right. They want to feel that they are equally recognized in society as other people are. Why should they be discriminated against?
That's right.
They're part of community. I'm equally a natural person as you are. So why should I be?
Natural people, they're still man and man. It's just that their love seems to be unnatural.
And I think this is not about your sexual preferences at all. This debate is not about sexual preferences. It never was. Even in our mythology, it was never related to sexual preferences. It was about your biological being and what you are and what you feel about someone else. So it is not.
But
it's not
if the people who proclaim they know religion and religion says this, religion says that, God prefers this, God prefers that, they should also understand that God is the one who's created all of us.
Exactly.
So if he or she made a certain person a certain way, that's
what they are.
Yes.
So if you're making laws in the name of that God, then you should also accept his own creation as being right. It's just, I think that people just want to say what they believe is right for them, not necessarily what's right for the other person, and they don't want to be perceived as out of line in anybody's eyes or in the eyes of the society.
Yeah, because we inherently moving towards being conservative in all areas because of our fear, because of our phobias. So this is
It is, yes.
phobia. We just
Phobia.
get ahead of
Of the future of the kids, what are we going to tell them or what they're going to be like? It's just,
and the fear mongering is going on. We're all talking about it's not about us, it's about our kids as well. What are they going to go through in life if this happens?
If you think about kids, then I would rather have a society that accepts my kid and makes him feel comfortable in whatever world he's growing up in.
Yeah.
So
True.
if this law has to change or whatever,
Yeah.
I would rather have a world which says, right, if you want this, you can have that. I don't want him to grow up in a society that pressurizes him, that
Exactly.
makes him move to another country or
I know.
live in denial
That's
or
right.
fake his personality just
Yeah.
to be accepted in a society that itself doesn't know where it wants to head.
true.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, as a mother, I think all of us are mothers. We want our children to be accepted equally with the rest of the world. It's like racism. I am a colored person. My child goes to school in a completely, say, white school. I don't want my child to be discriminated against. It's
Of course
the same
not.
thing.
Yeah,
This is
that's
another form of
exactly.
diversity.
Right.
So we don't want our children to be discriminated against in school. So think about it like that. Why? I mean, it's not going to be a negative. It's actually going to be a positive if we recognize these relationships and they have certain rights and they're accepted in society like everyone else is.
Because if I think of the values I want to put in my kid, it is acceptance, it is humanity, it's love. Those are the things I want to teach him. But if he goes out and he gets discriminated and he comes and asks me questions, I want to be able to say that no, what you are is good enough. You are right, you are okay, you are accepted, you are loved. I want to be able to say that openly without having to say you're accepted but only if you do this. You're accepted only in these countries.
Yes.
I don't want to have so many restrictions on my child.
If the same-sex marriage is legalized, what are the benefits they're going to get?
So then I think the married couple will then get all the benefits that you get as a married person. So every benefit that you get, say probably childcare benefits and other benefits. So even after divorce, your property settlement and everything will be according to the family law will apply to that to them as well as it applies. The people of the same sex marriage will also get exactly the same benefits, and the children would get the same benefits.
From a non-legal point of view, I think the benefit would be to be normal. To be a normal family would be a huge benefit. I know there are financial benefits and legal benefits, but in that sense, also I feel that we keep saying and quoting things like love is unconditional, but apparently it's not.
And can this be misused, this same-sex marriage?
As everything, everything is prone to misuse, but I at this point really can't see how it will be misused for some financial gain or something possibly, but really I don't think people would, because there's such a big stigma attached to it anyway socially. You would not really be doing it unless you were really committed to that relationship. It's not something that you can go and say, oh yes, I am very happy to be a gay person, because some of their communities will ostracize them for that fact, even though it's legalized. Socially there might still be stigmas attached to it, so I don't think they will do that for any particular benefit. So
even if they were misusing, I guess in the whole scheme of things, the benefit of it or the good side of it is huge compared to the misuse that might come.
And that's with every law.
Exactly.
That's with every law.
Yeah. So I guess we have to focus more on the positives of it or how it can benefit the society that's struggling with it.
Exactly. In the other countries as well, I don't think there has been any evidence of it being misused or it having negative repercussions for community or society. They've mainly been positive, so we've got to probably learn from those experiences of other countries as well.
And I think the main thing today is to support them and stand up for them and see where this goes. And we can just hope for the best, I guess.
Let's
hope for a yes.
Hope for a yes,
And then the parliament as well.
And hopefully after that, and everything doesn't get pushed out too far in the future.
It's taken a lot of years, hasn't it?
It has been quite a few years couple of years to get to this point, and now with that, this is just seems to be an additional layer added, a step added to the whole process, just to delay the thing.
It was interesting talking to you guys about it. If you want anything else to add to this topic, you can, because you guys are the experts.
I would just urge our communities, I think our multicultural communities, to come out and support it as well. There's a lot of people from our own communities who have moved from another country to this country just to be accepted in community.
Think about what we'll be teaching our children. If we say no to this, how many things will we say no to them?
Yes.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's it, folks. I'll see you next week with new interesting topic. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.